Oh, we're almost there. Check. We are everywhere today. Hail, cold moon, and ancient stars. All right, I'm not even gonna get into it because I will totally get into it, and then you and I won't have it. Like we'll be discussing music the entire show, and almost we should be for America.
For America.
We're live on the live stream right now, but we'll join in with Chicago in a second when they're
Cool.
kicking us in. We got about 4 minutes there. I muted them. Let's
Nearly
see.
200 buildings.
Yeah, so they'll hopefully just check their audio. Welcome, chat room. Hi, everybody. You wonderful sons of dog doodles. You running around on a holiday. You know what? I gotta say,
I gotta tell you.
I gotta tell you, folks. I got a medal from Eisenhower for keeping down the black vote. Brooke Shields, isn't she something? That was a Brad Garrett joke. That was his go-to when we filmed Bleacher Bums together. That was his go-to impersonation of
Bob Hope.
Yeah, Bob Hope.
Brad Garrett is so funny.
I got a medal from Eisenhower for keeping down the black vote. Brooke Shields, everybody. So, like, it's like a terrible and wonderful joke. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We're very excited to have you here. Hold on. I feel like I have to, let's see, where is this business? I have so many windows open, and it makes me feel both good and bad. You know how it is. And we are now live on Insta with your Finsta. Hello, Insta, if that is your real name. If you're not the Finsta. Oops, let's see. I got to move this over so I can see you and do all my little show preppy kind of things. But I was going to I wonder if this will work. Hold on. Yeah, okay. I got to move Johnny around again. But I think that's okay. Let's see, hide this and go to the window here. Hide this little window here. And then grab Johnny Million's head. And where is he? There he is. And go, oh, look out. Oh, Johnny, come in. Extreme close-up. All right, you're fine. It's just rude. That's some sort of OSHA violation, I think, for the show.
I'm a little dizzy now.
I understand. Now, he says. Anyway, gang. Let's see. Is this? Yeah, there we go.
The aspect ratio is a little wonky.
It did stretch you a bit. You
too.
That's because we're tilted perspective wise. We are. I'll show you what your window. Hold on. I'll show you like this. Watch this.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Hang on, Pep. There you go. Now you're straight. Wait, see.
Oh my God.
Jor-El. I will kill you, Jor-El. Your heirs will kneel before me, Jor-El. Sorry.
Kneel before Zod.
One of the greatest American, if we're going to celebrate things that are American today, I think Christopher Reeve as Superman has got to be top of the charts, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Sure, and even Zod knowing that the president would not bow before him.
Right. Yep. And then he'd end up getting crinkle hands. Yeah, totally. Like, he would have gone like, I'll take Australia.
I'd like Otisville.
Yes. Otisville?
Oh, Otisburg.
Sorry, Otisburg. Sorry, Mr. Luthor.
I just thought, Otisburg.
Cross the
All right, if the green screen comes down, we're going to blame Foster.
Don't we always?
Yeah, he does get the blame for most things.
That's so mean of him.
He does a new thing right now. If Damon starts solo playing with a toy, he just goes and attacks Damon.
Oh.
Like,
you have taught him well.
I can have fun on my watch.
Hold
Come
on,
here.
somebody's CSL grabbed the Jor-El the Zod grabbed the Zod GIF and threw it into the staff chat. Like
Nice.
right as I was, yeah. All right, I muted Chicago. I got to unmute them, otherwise
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
problem. Hello, Chicago. Are you there? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we are.
Good
Hello.
day. Yeah, excellent. Hi. All right. Let us know when we're up and running if we are at all. I can wait. Okay.
Sounds good. Stand by.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Now, live from Chicago, the Hal Sparks radio program Mega Worldwide.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Hal Sparks, actor, comedian, and multimedia personality.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hal Sparks.
All right,
Well,
let's do this.
Happy 4th of July. Happy 250th, or as I like to call it, the semi-quincentennial, which sounds like an episode of Quincy where he tried to seal the deal and failed on his birthday. He had old man problems. Yeah, poor Quincy. He had a semi-coincident and did not work. It's so difficult to do like holiday shows sometimes because you feel like, do we move on as if and just, stick to the tried and true, get the news out there, let people know what's up, or do we turn it into an abstract celebration of whatever particular holiday it is? In this case, the Quincy-thon that I will watch as soon as they put the entire series on a streaming service.
Yeah, it's not streaming out there, is it?
No, it's very sad. You have to buy the box set, which I'm not against.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things that are just downright straight up America, and we were talking about them a little bit before the show. Christopher Reeve as Superman, Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, Bruce. I would say Bill Bixby as Bruce Banner. I don't know how much the Hulk fits into that. I think probably this administration would have the Hulk deported. Just for, just because,
Wrong skin color.
Yeah, he got rid of a white person. He took the place of a white person. So the Hulk is their nightmare of great replacement theory. Like, I just love the idea that Tucker Carlson, if he ever has to go see one of the Hulk movies, is like, oh, Hollywood, you got me again.
Make me angry.
Yep. And chat room, I'd love to hear from you what your culturally your favorite Americana thing to celebrate, something you always maybe have a holiday tradition besides brats if you're in the Wisconsin, Northern Illinois area versus a hot dog, but still it's a sausage meat of sorts in a bun. And who doesn't like that? What's not to like?
Yeah, I'm going to an RPM 4th of July party this afternoon.
Look at that.
And evening.
After your magnificent show last night that you
We
killed
had a
it and you were
magnificent
amazing.
show last night. There will be some available online at some point. And then, so tonight there will be seven, I believe, kinds of meat prepared by our lead guitar player. He loves to smoke the brisket.
That's
Oh God!
cat attack. Hold on. Oh no! One of Johnny's cats turned on him, which is just as as American as apple pie, and bees. So do you have a great 4th of July memory? Of a M80 in a toilet or particularly.
There are two. The fireworks in Northfield when I was a kid. One of them, the finale of the fireworks. It was like they were coming from the golf course. It was like along Willow Road.
Sure.
And there was a golf course on the other side, and the stuff just falling out of the sky and landing on us because they were shooting off the fireworks directly over our head. Like, I never realized that there was shrapnel from fireworks until that point. I was like, I guess
sure.
It doesn't vanish. It's a thing. And when we were walking back to our car one time in the very dark, because there were very few streetlights back there, my dad's foot fell perfectly into a hole. And he went down.
Oh,
He
dear.
went down, and he was so mad. And it was one of those really awkward things where it wasn't like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I fell." It was more
Right.
like, "We will never speak of this again." So I'm bringing
Right.
it up on the air.
Of course. Yeah. Because that's the kind of guy you are. So my biggest fireworks thing was that wasn't a 4th of July thing. It was in Thailand. I was there with my buddy Chris Bono, who was having a wonderful panic attack about being in a country where he didn't speak the language, where there very well would be no. There might, if he got hungry, he wouldn't be able to explain that he was hungry to anyone, and that would go bad very fast.
Then it would just go.
No, not in Thailand, because of his other fear, which had to do with ladyboys. So, between the two of those, it was a constant panic attack that he couldn't even smile at anybody. It was hilarious. He was in sort of this constant state of like, if I yell help, everyone will just laugh and point. Also, it's some sort of early. He got ahead of the arc of trans panic well before it was a concern.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds
only on the left. Or something that would make Tucker Carlson look downright relaxed about the entire subject. Chris was sure that he was going to just take the sip of the wrong drink and then end up with a new hobby. And we went to the World Trade Center in Bangkok, which was these big buildings downtown, because there are a lot of World Trade Centers. A lot of people don't know that. Maybe, same people who don't know that Lincoln was a Republican and that Teddy Roosevelt said about a man that he, let's begin when the killing is the killings. So if you didn't get a chance to check out my takedown of Trump's speech outside the Teddy Roosevelt Library, please check that on the live stream. You will not regret it.
Which one did he bring up? Communism again? Was that?
That was last night. Yeah, at Mount Rushmore. Now, okay, let's address the communism.
No commie threat.
The Red Scare. Which, by the way, has always been awkward for Republicans since it's the same moniker color of their party. You know what I mean? That's probably why they're sensitive about it. That the commies came along and I'm sorry, did we just fight did we just win a new level of Galaga? That was fun. We got. I think that was a sound effect from.
I think my computer just finished doing something in the background and told you about it.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's fine as long as it's done or it's just started. But obviously the 3 blue districts that got a little bluer in New York, the mayorship of New York City, and 1 seat in the weediest district, and I don't mean the kind that will ruin your garden, I guess, unless you get so high you forget to tend it. The weediest district in Denver, which is again a shocker, and it's major wins for Democratic primary candidates, upending I think the chairman of the House Hispanic Caucus and a Jew or two. It's it's the kind of stuff you're like, finally. I'm being ironic, please, thank you. Yeah, but the big fear is the commies are coming. Oh, here they go, the commies. Okay, first of all, Donald Trump is the closest thing to a communist president we have ever had, because he is the only one trying to buy a government stake in major industry and own the means of production. Trump wants to buy into the factories of AI. Now, is there a big difference between that kind of corporate communism, which is what I would call it, versus early the adorable quasi-utopian Marxism, again, all written by a rich kid from the warm side of a bay window about the struggle of people he wouldn't hang out with, and dropping the occasional N-bomb, but only to insult Jews. That kind of fun early history of communism. The big difference between the two of those is that, at least in theory, if communists were taking over a factory where there were workers that they were liberating and allowing to have a say, there were actually people in the actual factory, as opposed to AI factories, which are A, not factories, and I, not factories. There's no people in them.
I'm so glad you said I was going to beat you to it.
So, thank you so much, Tamal, for the super chat. A shout out to those who must work on Independence Day, including Johnny and I and everybody at WCPT and all the EMTs and firemen and women who are out there who are going to have to just run around the cities and the rural outposts of our country, throwing a wet cloth over everything all weekend. Yeah. All weekend long, because you don't think it stops tonight, do you? So let's when we come back, let's explore the communist of the commies again, because this seems to be at the turning point of 250. Is America about to enter its communist phase, finally taken over by the side that accidentally almost but didn't quite win the Soviet something or other, and and it will take its cues from China and how communist they are without a social safety net at all, and like the most egregious poverty and income inequality anywhere on the planet that has cell phones. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Parks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
The Ben Joravsky Show.
The vast majority of people, they're vaguely aware who Susanna Mendoza is.
Chicago, can you kill ads coming my way?
She wants to be mayor of the city of Chicago. That's pretty obvious. So really what you have to do is think about what I just...
All right, I'm muting them, but we're going to have to check back in with them in a second.
Yourself.
I got 30 seconds, and I'll ask them again. All right. Let's see there.
On my radio show. Remember when I had a radio show?
Okay. Earn more sessions by... What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. That's why it came out. Yeah.
Remote control. You could hit pause.
So do you think this is Trump's last 4th of July?
Oh, God, yeah.
Or that time you forgot to roll.
Yeah. Did you see...
would have come in.
Did you see any of the wonderful, and again, most wonderful Roosevelt stuff?
No.
Ugh.
Stopping smoking and eating healthier, you can stop pre-diabetes.
Hey, Hal.
Hey,
diabetes.
Yes.
It's
can
easy
you
to lower your
can you
risk.
kill
Take
the ads coming my way?
Do I have pre-diabetes?
For sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Life doesn't come with.
All right, we got
Just,
about 20 seconds.
Excellent. All I needed you here is you and bumpers.
You have the power.
Sounds good.
Of pre-diabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Man, hey, get ahead of it.
Chicago's progressive
Hey Google,
talk from
do I have prediabetes.com?
We're coming back in a second. Sorry. Well, that's all right. I'll play it. I was messing around Chicago. Fear not. And we're back, I think. I'm pretty sure we're back. And I'm sorry that I had to, in prepping for this morning's show, I had to cut away from J.D. Vance's dynamic and emotional and passionate, patriotic even, speech that he was giving in front of some waterway somewhere with boats going by in the background. I mean, it was riveting. I almost, I was watching it and I almost couldn't tear myself away, and it was so visually stunning that maybe that's why I missed all the words. It wasn't that they were boring and devoid of personality or any useful details, or didn't continue to whine about communism because Trump told him to. It's because when he finished, I was sad they wouldn't play his theme song.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat, take it higher, can't retreat, feel the rhythm, can't deny, couch humping, reach the sky.
So the couch humper and second chief, who will probably be running the joint by next 4th of July, just count on it. Yeah, he was giving his speech and he threw in his little chunk about communism and oh dear, the communism. Okay, if anybody hasn't had the time to read my the Sparksist Megafesto on my Substack, where I put forward my economic theory, which is the only functioning theory that exists. Sorry, everyone in academia, but and that is, quite frankly, what exists everywhere on the planet where you have a functioning society, even marginally, and you're not North Korea on a freedom level. Like anything that isn't, you're just still in grass skirts, living on an island, and if a boat pulls up, you throw spears you made by hand at them. Which there's an island, I think it's off of Thailand, where that happens. Or you're not North Korea, which has all the technology needed to make nukes, but the people there can't scrape together a meal on the regular. If you're anywhere in between those two extremes, what you have in your country is a mixed economy. And that mixed economy entails public works done that everybody agrees we all need and no individual or group or corporation by themselves would pay for. Think interstate highways, think dams, think an electrical grid, think even a satellite system, a standing army, think a national fire, or like FEMA, think things like that. Things we all realize we need, but if we left it up to one person and that person fell asleep at the wheel, we'd all be doomed and that kind of stuff. So those are the public works. We all have public works that are necessary. Every country in the world has them. By the way, it's not unique to democracy. They still existed when there were monarchies. You just didn't have a say in it. You didn't have, they didn't ask you where the fire brigades would be. They didn't ask you if you wanted a road in one particular place. If the king wanted a road there, that's where there was a road. You still paid the tax even if the road didn't come to you, which again brings me to corporate communism in a minute. On the other side of that, you have the complete private sector, which is the stuff you own that is yours, including, by the way, your own labor. In a non-slave society, one of the biggest aspects of personal capital you own is where you work, for how much you will work, and whether you will work at all. And having the ability to decide that yourself is also another aspect that is crucial to democracy and the American experiment. But Catfeb just said bypasses need to be built. Thank you for quoting The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Prosthetic Vogon Jelts for the win. So,
wow,
you have these two elements. Even if you don't want them to exist, even if you are a full bore communist and you don't think anybody should have private property and certainly not private aspect of their labor, which means you all have to work as the collective. Everybody's got to take turns working at the factory or working on the farm. You got to produce something, and if you don't, we're going to sideline, lemming you off a cliff or something because you're not pulling your weight, because that's part of the collective idea as well. Or to the complete other extreme, where it's like, I want to use airports and landing strips and the FAA and all that kind of stuff, but I don't want to pay any taxes to do it. Those are the same people. Those are exactly the same people. That's why there's so much horseshoe overlap in the uber rich and the Marxist millionaire left, like Hassan Piker and Jimmy Dore and that crowd. They're the same people. It's always somebody else. It's always the workers that go on general strike is who they will talk to while they're live streaming on their show or standing there with a bullhorn and then getting into a black SUV and going home. Right? That's how it works. It's the same thing if Peter Thiel pretends to, or Donald Trump for that matter.
Yeah.
Those folks are. They're the same way. Like, I'm going to walk down there with you, and we're going to go down there and peacefully and patriotically, and then have fun, and then go get in the car and get, I guess try to throttle one of the Secret Service guys.
Talk to the police.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Don't say why you're there.
So he's like, Hassan is fine. Hassan is ridiculous, and he's a distraction from the actual people you should be paying more attention to. It's just that Tom Hartman's older, and it's apparently it's more shocking to listen to somebody like Hassan. If you want the real deal, who could talk about these things with a sense of history, a sense of caring, a sense of respect for his fellow man, Tom Hartman's your man. Okay,
Yep.
genuinely. And that dude works for a living. He's the only person I've ever known, only writer in the world, I think, ever, who the doctor told him to start learning to type because he threw his arm out writing longhand. The guy writes so many books and wrote so fast that he threw his arm. So
he's like a major league pitcher.
that's right. And I even when he has on Richard Wolff, who's a straight up, again, another faux Marxist, who beats his chest about it, but works at one of the big institutions, has a huge stock portfolio. Huge. It's hilarious. And he comes on there and talks about how, whatever the Marxist ideal of labor is, that your employer exploits you just by not paying you as much as he can get from you, which, again, if you follow the calorie analogy I use, it's very simple. If it took the same amount of calories to lift your spoon to your face as the food provided, you would die. Your entire body works on profit. Whatever's left over from the food in the effort you take to actually go drive to the store, buy the food, bring it in, cook it on your plate, shovel it into your face. After that, if there's any calorie value left over, that's what heals your wounds, helps you grow, repairs tissue, or gives you that funky little punch that you've been trying to get rid of. But the point is, Thank
you for calling it funky.
Well, we share that. So, but the point I'm trying to make in these situations is that the panic about communism that's coming around these, when really they're just talking about public works. And democratic socialists, ultimately, it's a bit of an oxymoron, because you can't have democratic socialism, because once you have socialism, the democratic aspect of it goes out the window. What you have is democratic taxation, which is what the entire country was based on. That's what the Boston Tea Party was about. Taxation with representation. That's what it means.
I'm compelled by them trying to take that name back of socialism, though. Like, I don't hate it.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, the problem is it takes the word away, and it makes you look like you have to achieve something, and you don't. You already have it. We have it. We just have to use it. That's the problem.
Yeah, just label it. But a lot of the parties in Europe are very specific about what they're called. It's a whole bunch of adverbs.
Yes, well, that's how you end up with National Socialism. And that's, you know what I mean? Right. Anytime you're putting a moniker on it or whatever, like socialism, but we're going to do it for us because it's really just for the German people are superior, and therefore we're not going to build a program of socialism that benefits other countries. We're going to feed our socialism by invading other countries and taking their stuff, which means that King George was not engaged in imperialism. He was engaged in socialism. And that's how dumb it is. Like the repurposing of the word is ridiculous. So the reality, right? The irony of it is that, you've got these two extremes. You've got the kind of Steve Forbes, like, laissez-faire capitalist crowd, which is like no government intervention. The system will work it out. The Rand Paul idea. The Rand Paul idea is that we don't need to grade restaurants and let you know if they get an A, B, C, or D from the health department. Because after a couple of people die from stomach flu or food poisoning, people just they'll learn. The market will fix itself, right?
Yeah, the old market correction. But what if the person is upset who lost, Meemaw?
Yeah.
What? They have no recourse that Meemaw went to go eat at
a Rand Paul,
that's
where the Rand Paul Ayn Randian atheistic crowd that they talk about. That's when those folks come in and go, the government is not responsible for your emotional or mental state, even if they are the cause of it specifically, right? You can't. There's no such thing as pain and suffering.
Unless it happens to them.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes, exactly. That's kind of where we're getting to in this, especially the communist part, which we'll get to on the other side of the break, because man, is Trump okay with straight up communism, like old fashioned dictatorial central planning. I'll take the fruits of your labor, the work that you do in all the factories, and I'll just feed my big fat mouth with your work, and call myself a man of the people. That the Boris Yeltsin of it. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, mega worldwide. If she dies, she dies. I don't know what we're relating to. That was funny. Okay. I'm looking in the chat. Hal Vickery, thank you so much for the 4th. You're celebrating what America has been and what it will become again after this mess is cleared up. Well, I'm going to do my part.
I'm an American has-been.
Oh, that's sweet. Don't you have to be somebody first? Isn't that what was the joke? I'm trying to
Yeah.
It's actually a backhanded compliment because at least you were somebody,
you were somebody
right?
once.
Yeah. The Theodore Roosevelt Library has to clean up the nut stains. They'll never come. They'll never come out.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
think so. Oof. Tamal, thank you so much. A shout out to those who must work on Independence Day. We saw that one earlier. Thank you again. Richard Flair again. Who's going to pay to restore the White House furniture from Donnie's razor blade marks and drug dust? Oh my God, that's going to be pricey. It'll be part of the history.
Isn't it wild seeing Don Jr. just go into his pocket for cocaine in the middle of public events?
And who? What do you mean?
Don Jr. There are videos of him going into his jacket or pants pocket and doing cocaine maneuvers.
Well, yeah. I mean, what is he afraid? He's going to get a pardon, and he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, and God knows what it is.
WCPT 820.
I always watched
Chicago's
1776.
Progressive Talk,
Recently,
where
John
facts
Adams
matter.
on 4th of July.
You're
Cool.
listening to the Hal Sparks radio program.
Battle stations, everybody. Let's go, 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 go.
Mega worldwide.
So there has always been a kind of version of central planning. That these are the buzzwords, by the way, that the Glenn Becks of the world freak out about communism. They always use the big one is central planning. It was also threaded the Red Scare commie fear was also threaded through their picking winners and losers. Remember that during the Solyndra and the solar panels ones? You're first of all, Obama is singularly responsible as a president for the biggest leap forward in solar efficiency, and it is an industry in the nation's history. Stuff, by the way, that could have been done during the first 4 years of Reagan because physics has not changed. But after Jimmy Carter put solar panels on the White House, Reagan took them down. Which, by the way, I think the next Democratic president, if it's me and I am running, as soon as I get there, I'm going to put solar panels back up on the White House, and I'm going to take the gold that Trump put there and have it removed, melt it down, and use to pay our nation's debt. Just pay down the debt. So what little there is there, the gold leafing, he'll probably scrape it off on his way out the door, or after he collapses or whatever happens, Don Jr. will come in there with one of those little files that's in a fingernail clippers and start just scraping it into his little Coke. The thing looks like a pocket watch that I think Woody Allen snorted it out of in one of the movies. Anyway, it's not real gold. It's totally real gold because he's going to take it with him. I guarantee it. He's going to take a lot of that stuff with him. The vases and the urns and stuff that are up there that are gold. He's totally leaving with them. They're going to be gifts, and they're going to be in his library, and then they're going to replace the ones in the library with painted ones, and he's going to use the other ones as currency to do whatever the hell he's doing out there. But okay, so the central planning thing is what they always fear. Okay, but as soon as Trump gets in, they want him to be in charge of everything. They don't want representation from their own, congressional members or their Senate, equivalent. Having a say in the budget. They don't want the judiciary to be able to, put a stop to things that are unconstitutional and the like. They want Trump to be able to decide everything. One of the biggest things this week was that they undid a rule that the president couldn't fire people as the heads of these independent agencies without cause that had been around since the New Deal. And Trump and his buddies, and by the way, Bill Barr's been trying to get rid of this since the 80s. They believe in the unitary executive. They believe in a monarchical system. So the idea that they don't believe in central planning is just dumb. Of course they do. They just don't want it to be a committee, I suppose. Maybe that's the big problem that they have. Or they don't want to be able to, there to be a decision-making process about who's on the committee or who's in charge of it. What they want is this kind of, Trump definitely wants to pass on the presidency to a progeny the way George H.W. Bush did. That's what he thinks is, best, because, fast racehorses breed fast racehorses, which he said at the Mount Rushmore. Ugh. So these two extremes, the communism and the crony hypercapitalism, run almost exactly the same way in how they have failed in the past. They become hierarchical fiefdoms run by whoever gets into power first and closes the door behind them. And that's the goal. Look at the economic policies of the rich and who should stay rich, according to Trump and his crowd. The idea that it's why they're killing DEI. The reason they're killing DEI, besides the racism, is because if your sons were Don and Eric, would you want them having to compete with people who actually worked for a living and who had to struggle and who have resilience and courage and drive because of that life lesson? Of course not. That, you'd want to guarantee they don't have any competition. This is, and by the way, I'm enjoying having the chat going on in the background. I don't know if that's overwhelming for you, Johnny Million, running back there, but it's nice to see everybody, especially on a holiday. Phil will be joining us in the second hour. I want to remind everybody he is okay, but he has a video. I will play it during the break on the live stream because I can't remember if he swears in it. But the Russians struck a building less than a block from his apartment in Kyiv, and it was dangerously close. And the irony is that it's having the exact opposite effect I think the Russians thought it would have. So, it's steeled their resolve. Racehorsism. Yeah, that's what Trump believes. That's his sort of evolutionary. He's a neo-Darwinist, evolution as a skill, which is what the eugenics move was, which is why you would, have a copy of Hitler's speeches on your nightstand to impress the girls. The issue with with kind of diving in too much or reading too much into the 4 or 5 people from the Democratic Socialists or that were okayed by the Democrats. I hear you now. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a little delay,
but that they couldn't hear me.
There's a slight delay, but I hear you.
Okay.
Yes. But that there are people on the Democratic side that are reading too much into it. How Phil won't be here today. That's why he sent the video. I beg your pardon. Thank you, Andrea. So he is fine. They're filming, I think, on the edge today. So that's why he's not going to be here. But he sent the video to let everybody know he's okay. All right. Got it. So it's just you and I, Johnny, for the second hour. Excellent.
Nice.
Now, where was I? Oh, yes, communism. So one of the biggest, besides central planning, which is their big boogeyman that they talk about, how if you have one person running everything and there's no checks and balances on them, like in the system we already have, when you use it, when you vote, when you participate, when you elect people that believe in that system, we already have all this stuff. We already have a powerful mechanism for incremental and lasting change. And if you don't believe me, look how hard it is for them to undo, how hard it was for them to undo the ACA. It took two Trump terms, effectively, multiple attacks by Republicans, ceding the Supreme Court to do it, and a bunch of namby-pamby faux-gressives not caring if it died on the vine because they don't care if 24 million people lose insurance because if we don't get everything, nobody gets anything. So, that's how much it took. Whereas the people who were under the DACA order that Obama signed are constantly under fear that it can be undone at any time. This is why you wanted gay people to openly be able to serve in the military by legislation, as opposed to an executive order about don't ask, don't tell, which if you come out and then they find out and you didn't mean to tell, but it got out, you could still be kicked out. You want these changes to last. And you want, if people try to undo them, that they have to go through at least some major process to do it. As opposed, and by the way, one of the best things, thank you, Alicia, for the super chat as well. Happy 4th to you, and hello. One of the things that, one of the upsides of the Trump presidency is he's doing so much through executive order and is so incapable of passing any kind of, even normal legislation in a lot of cases, that it's not going to be hard for the next president to undo that stuff.
No.
And the Republicans will pitch a fit. And by the way, that rule that he just got overturned, the next Democrat that gets in is going to be able to fire everyone he put in charge of almost every independent agency that's out there.
Oopsies.
And how many people think that Donald Trump is going to try and fire Kevin Warsh by the end of the year?
Who's that?
He's the new Fed chairman. Because why did Trump want a new Fed chairman? Because he wanted someone he could bully into lowering interest rates. Yeah. But the Fed has a board, and the board votes on it, and the Fed chairman can be the deciding factor. But if all of them are looking at the same numbers, including him, and going, if you do this, you'll wreck our economy, then he's not going to vote for it, because now he's in a position where his legacy is the economic security of the United States, and his term as Fed chair is longer than Trump's. So guess what? I mean, this is why he hated Chris Wray. And it's also partly why he wants to be able to fire other people without cause, because he has no idea who he's putting in there. He's just putting cronies in and hoping that, it works out. And if it doesn't, he can blame them for his stupid plan. He basically brings.
We're going to be reassembling after Doge for years and years.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is, look at what a failure Doge is. You want something to celebrate. What was Doge's, besides getting USAID folded into the State Department? Most of that money still exists. If Congress allocates money for the kind of stuff that USAID would do, by and large, it goes out. All the discretionary stuff isn't being sent out, but Trump wouldn't have sent that stuff out anyways. He would have had an impact on probably 20% of USAID's budget, and that's exactly what he did. The rest of it was folded under the State Department so they can pretend it's not going out and that they killed it so they could beat their chest in front of maggots. But Marco Rubio understands the soft power benefits of the kind of stuff we do under USAID. He knows it. It's ridiculous. So they just, I almost feel like they folded into the State Department, not just to convince by and large, the maggot crowd, the maggot coalition, that they got rid of it, but also to convince Trump. Do you think he follows up on any of this stuff? It's absurd. So, and again, look at the subsidies that he is throwing in the direction of industries that he wants to suck up to. I mean, how would you view his immigration policy? Now, Mamdani did his speech about the 250. It was a nice speech. And he had new people who had just become citizens standing behind him. It was a lovely speech. It was pretty direct, a couple jabs, but most of it was pretty just, nonpartisan. Like it was good, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Trump, and it's a nice contrast to Trump's he's just incapable of not taking a dig because he's so weak. But what's more kind of patriotic? What Zohran Mamdani clearly did, showing these new Americans, people who had taken an oath to the United States recently and want to commit to being citizens of this country, or Donald Trump, who was threatening mass deportations, has failed miserably. And then, because, again, there aren't that many undocumented people in the country, so you can't deport people who don't exist. But what was his solution when they finally had to start getting their numbers up to satisfy the Nick Fuentes and the, and the Megyn Kelly, white crowd? What was his solution? Tell you can't get rid of the farm workers. You can't get rid of the hospitality workers because you need them. His own properties need them. His buddies in Big Ag need them. So what did he do? He gave them a bro pass. He's like, they don't have to become citizens. They don't even need green cards. We'll just let them stay and pay them under the table, and we'll just not enforce it. You mean the status quo?
Right.
Like, that's what we were doing before. It kind of reminds me of the Strait of Hormuz, which was open in January. We'll be back right after this. Then
what happened? Why did it close? What happened?
I don't know. I don't like to read unless it's articles about myself. It's the one thing I share with Trump, I guess. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Oh, they muted themselves. Chicago muted themselves. Okay.
Nice. Good job, Chicago.
Well done.
I'm looking forward to seeing Phil's video.
Yeah, it's good. It's he did a reel from in front of the building next door.
So wild.
Did you see? People are saying that Trump's attempt to take the scissors that he used to cut the ribbon at the Teddy Roosevelt thing to put them in his pocket is another sign of his dementia because he's getting kleptomania. And
I've heard about that.
Yeah. So here, I want to see if I can bring this up. Yeah. Trump's odd new kleptomania habit, a clear sign he's suffering from dementia.
I like it.
Yeah, clearly he is. And that, again, there's also this, I think it's the same thing with wanting to name everything. This is panic about like you're grasping at anything that will give you a sense of permanence because you can feel your mind and your body and your physical health slipping away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this is not the face of an adult. This is, yeah.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're locked into the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So, Trump, you really talk about the kleptomania that Trump is experiencing as his brain turns to tapioca in front of everyone. There was this clip of him trying to take the golden scissors they cut the ribbon with and put them in his suit jacket. I gotta say, I didn't notice they were gold from the thing because of the angle that I had really didn't show it. You couldn't really see it that well. But the funny part was he tried to stick them in his pocket, sharp side up in his suit jacket.
Well, you can't go sharp side down because it'll go right through the jacket. It'll go through.
You shouldn't put them in in it at all.
Look, I steal lots of very pointy, sharp scissors, and there are guidelines.
It's more of a guideline than a rule, I would say, certainly.
Yeah, more of a guideline than a rule.
Yeah, the rule, yeah. So, pool or pond, that'd be good for me. So, I was so distracted by the fact that he was going to stab himself in the neck trying to put him in his pocket because he was holding him like midway point, like near the handle, and he's just trying to find the pocket and shove it in there. And I'm like, he's going to stab himself in the throat, or the other thing I call it. It could have pierced it. That's right, stepladder. It would have been awful, but yeah. So that said. And I suppose I could do the warning, Johnny Million, just so let people know that this is a thing, and warn people that the underside of Trump's neck will give you nightmares. Just understand that. So he's it seems like he's grasping at when he put his name on the Kennedy Center. When he's trying to, he's literally creating this like monument garden, which
isn't he like trying to blackmail people into making statues of him?
Well, yeah, he has. They have the gold statue of him that's at, I want to say, Doral, or one of his stupid golf courses, and it's very good. It's very good. It's 0.8 pounds away from being a morbidly obese, and there's nothing wrong with the ear. So the ear is perfectly fine. Looks very, very normal. But there are windows of when they are allowing him to talk, or, and I don't know. We'll have to ask Doc Adam the next time he's on the show on my live stream. He's our old folks expert. We're gonna have to ask him whether the sundowning is a factor of the actual of Sol and the moon itself, or it's when he went to bed versus when he gets up, and that they might roll his schedule forward, knowing this full well. If he's got an evening address like he had last night and tonight, or he's going overseas, they start pushing his clock, because he has only been in the White House, in the Oval Office, 6 times before 11 a.m. He has, yeah, he has only come down from the residence before 11 a.m. 6 times, and multiple times they have punted these things that he's been doing there, like he came down for a bill signing or something like that, by an hour or more. Like he was supposed to be down there at 11, and it became noon, 30, 1 o'clock by the time he actually came around to do it. So when they do these kind of things where he's doing an afternoon, he complained about this was supposed to take 15 minutes and they made him go on the tour. And then he spoke to Teddy Roosevelt, the AI. I don't know if you saw that. That was glorious.
Oh yeah, yes. I want to thank you for your very kind words.
Honor to be here with you.
Yours, AI, Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing terrific. And of course, these are all great distractions from the fact that Todd Blanche has lost the lawsuit with Katie Fang, and they are, he's continuing to punt on tons of Epstein files that are in the public interest, that are not of victims, that clearly have Donald Trump's name all over them, that he is holding back. And they are doing everything they can to traipse him all around the country, or make him look like he's, I guess, to some degree involved in the Iran deal, just to draw attention away from that. I mean, this is the Epstein war that we're in anyways. But he's a wreck. Let's just start there. He's a mess. I have watched every speech, but for maybe, probably in the last 7 or 8 years, I've missed probably less than 10 of his speeches. And the cascading fade in the last year especially, it was bad during the campaign, but in the last year especially, has been a cognitive collapse. It's brutal. It got to the point where we have so many flubs. It used to be that as I'm doing the show, I would occasionally, he'd say something, and we would grab,
replays in magnified fortune,
right? Or he'd say, he'd try to say,
free healthcare for illegal. Look,
you know what I mean? Or
when they gaze upon Yosemite,
right? Or he would lose the ability to have an internal monologue and start yelling.
Tariffs, potatoes and chicken.
That kind of stuff. Or Joe Rogan's favorite.
Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Yes, for those just joining us, that would be the airports during the Revolutionary War. I was so hoping he would retell that story.
I mean, it's what they had to do.
Yeah, they had to do everything they had to do. And of course...
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Mm-hmm.
I do it because I have, a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
Yeah.
Michigan gave us Motang.
Where is there?
In Michigan, I think.
Michigan gave us Motang.
Michigan gave us Motang. I mentioned this on a couple of the things that Trump said just in his speech when he tried to say grizzly, when he tried to say exhibits. Gazibas was fun. He said gazibas instead of exhibits. And when he tried, he said grizzlies. He didn't know that grizzly bears could run and that they were violent or dangerous.
I'd like to see them race.
Yes, right. I'm like, he apparently his sons had to fill him in on the flight to North Dakota. I'm not kidding.
Run.
Yeah. Asking if they were dangerous because he was telling a story about Teddy Roosevelt shooting one that was running right at him, and the story is that he shot it right in the head and it slid right to his feet. You know, that old kind of like hero story of like he got up the shot last second and whatever. And there were so many of them in that speech that eventually you kind of like you lose track. I think we had 5 situations where he was just absolutely talking gibberish in that one.
Russia.
You know what I mean?
To me, Corona means Italy.
Right? Just, it went on and on. I think he was trying to say Verona. Because right.
Yeah, maybe.
But he was talking about coronavirus because that was during COVID. And he somehow his brain jostled those two things up because he's a stable genius.
Frack.
I know. That's true. That is so true.
Hypersonic, I call it super duper. They don't like the gas.
Hypersonic, I call it
super duper. Yep, absolutely. So many things. But who can forget Iowa values?
Iowa values.
If you choke right in the middle.
Iowa values.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So anyways, I've saved, over the years, we have picked those up,
Salt water in their veins. You have that salt water. Don't let the doctors change it. Keep it. Because there's nothing like it. There's no blood like it.
Yeah, it appears that he believes that when someone told him that the analogy that seamen, beg your pardon, have salt water in their veins, he thought literally they had it. Or that they had a higher salt content. Maybe it affects their buoyancy if they fall overboard. Maybe that's what he believes. It's really hard because he kept saying it.
Thing having to do with sailing the oceans, there's nobody to compete.
It's brutal.
Not good.
I agree. So, yeah. And Obama. I mean, there's so many. Let's see.
Hey, sir, you shouldn't say that. It's too.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, sir, you shouldn't say that. It's too straight to withdraw.
Check the home app.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if you can hear the tail end of that.
Hey, sir, you shouldn't say that. It's too straight to withdraw.
You shouldn't say that. It's too stretch or withdraw. Don't know. I have no idea. But for all the maggots who think he's going to improve, that's what he used to sound like. Now he's the
good old days.
Yeah, I've got maybe 2 a speech from those, right? And over the years, because some of them were particularly funny. But this is it. This is like last night there were 5 or 6 of them. It was insane. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, mega worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Excuse me. Oh God. You know what? I'm going to see if I can. Oh, dude, it was rough. I'll see if Aaron Rupar has some of these because I can pull them up the short versions of them. Because, dude, it was harsh. Gazibas. He said, yeah.
He tracked a 1,200-pound grizzly. My 2 boys know all about that. I say, are grizzlies dangerous?
Are grizzlies dangerous?
2 boys know all about that. I say, are grizzlies dangerous? Is a grizzly bear dangerous? I looked at Eric and Don. They know more about that stuff than any human being, I tell you. They said, they're real dangerous, Dad. I said, are they violent bears? They said, they're really violent, right, fellas? You said they are violent, but that doesn't scare them. Just be scared, okay, and get the hell out of there.
Ugh. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Oh yeah, dude.
But in the West,
it's harsh. Grizzlies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are they violent?
Are they violent? No, yeah. And I was like, I tried to explain this yesterday. I was like, no, violence means a sort of sense of malice.
Right.
They're just bears, dummy. Yeah. There you go. And they'll let us know.
They violent.
Dude, are they violent? I gotta get this. We'll get this back. And again, they've been hiding his hands even more because both hands are they've got this like crusty makeup on them now. And like they're starting to give up is really, I mean, that's the thing to watch out for.
Same.
Yeah.
Theodore Roosevelt,
Hold on.
Well, incredible. I even had a conversation with Theodore Roosevelt. I said, what did you think about the Panama Canal? Do you consider that your greatest achievement? How do you feel about the fact that the Democrats gave the Panama Canal away to Panama for $1? You know, he built the Panama Canal, preceded really by a man who was he was the tariff king. William McKinley, he was the president.
Yeah, it's okay. So he rambles on about that one.
He had a conversation with Roosevelt.
Yeah, he talked to the AI thing that you could do, and you hold down a button and you talk to it, and he was like, I don't know, convinced it was really him. Please tell me that like somebody's going to tell him, just pass away, sir. We'll upload you.
Yeah.
But he did all of these incredible things with parks and everything else. And we vanquished every foreign power from the hemisphere, and he raised the American flag on the far side of the world. He had our American flag planted on every part of the world. He would.
Good old Theodore. Also, I don't know. Does anybody know what time his speech is today? Do you know? I think it was like 9 o'clock. He's doing it at night because it's so hot.
It's pretty warm.
Let's see.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at halsparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Puss-faced little pimp stick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
This is it. Here you go.
1,200-pound grizzly. My two boys know all about that. I say, are grizzlies dangerous? Is a grizzly bear dangerous?
A grizzly is dangerous. A grizzly bear is dangerous. Yes, a grizzly bear is dangerous. I'm glad we can finally, thank God we have a president like Donald Trump where we can settle that once and for all. He also struggled with exhibits. At the Roosevelt. Sorry,
a speech? He's just talking about things that cross his mind.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know that. I can't tell if he knew he was having a speech. I don't think so. He complained about it so much that. It seems not. He in the middle of it, he did, even though there was a written speech for him, in the middle of it, he was complaining about, it was supposed to, like Doug Burgum basically saying, it's like 15 minutes, and that'll be that, and we'll be out of here, and then here I am, and it's hot. Like, it was that bad. But again, this is not uncommon. like him being able to say grizzlies and gazibas instead of exhibits, and rambling on that he believes he actually spoke with Teddy Roosevelt, because he spoke to the AI and basically it was like, I use the AI to criticize the people that everybody like instead of me. Can you imagine this? This is one of the things that I've been struggling with in just like the analogy of the circumstance and how it's an own goal for all the football fans out there, is his constant thing about like the ACA was the worst thing ever. And yet he can't top it.
Nope.
And Joe Biden was the worst.
He's had 2 weeks to top it.
Oh, yeah. And Joe Biden is the worst ever, blah, 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 worst president ever. But Biden ended up being able to, Biden ended up able to pass an infrastructure act. I don't know what would have stopped Trump other than not giving a crap. I mean, does anybody think there wasn't that bill didn't exist in basically the same format? I mean, do you think the bridges that needed repair for 35 years changed all that much in the last few years? Like, in 2022 or 2023, it's ridiculous. And again, if you're going to talk about the America First idea, the America First crowd, the Nick Fuentes crowd, which seems to be really an act of isolationism from their point of view, more than it is about doing good for the country. It's just not doing good for other countries, because we're a Christian nation and we should keep it to ourselves, is that, I guess, the theory. So I just don't know how they thread that needle. Maybe they're just used to it. Maybe they're just used to his contradictions all the time, and that's the nature of it. Like in the CNBC interview he just gave.
This is a pragmatic end. You're not going to be in a forever war.
That's true.
And
that's true.
There are other concerns, but...
Joe, wait a second. You were in Vietnam for 19 years.
Right.
We were in Afghanistan for like 10 years. We were in the Korean War forever. We were in, I don't even mention World War I and World War II. They're biggies. But you know what? Stuff like this could have led to it. But we were in many, many years in every war. I've been there for 4 months. And what have I done? I've defeated them militarily. They're totally defeated militarily. They have some missiles left. We could wipe them out too.
Totally defeated. They do have some missiles left. They are using them. How do you know they have them? Well, they're firing at us and we're firing back at them. But, it's a ceasefire. Maybe they're just, like I said, maybe they're just used to it. Maybe they're committed to the fact that they're going to have to do this. But I'll put this up on the screen right now, and I apologize to some of the folks that are watching at home, but his hand during, the day when he was going down there, it looks like it looks like they're using Flex Seal on his hand now. Honest to God, or silly putty. It's gnarly. And they're not even, I think it brings into question your judgment if you actually look at a hand like that on your own body and go, yeah, that looks fine. I'll go out in public that way. I don't understand at all how. And by the way, let me, before we get into the area where we're going to the next break, I think we're okay with this. I want to play a video of Phil marking the U.S. Independence Day. He posted this, and I'll bring this up right here, and we'll be able to feed it to him. Here you go.
I am here on a rather warm day in July at the Ukrainian National News Agency, where they have put up an exhibition in their windows to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the birth of the American nation. And it is all pictures, stills that they have taken since the birth of their own nation, Ukraine, after the collapse of the Soviet Union. But I would argue that our relationship goes much further back and has much deeper roots than just what happened in 1991. Because there are many unspoken heroes from this part of the world who actually came from abroad, crossed the seas, to join the Continental Army in its fight against the monarch, King George. You know, if you're from the Chicagoland area, maybe you're familiar with men like Casimir Pulaski, because of course every year there's Pulaski Day. Well, he was born in what was Poland, still is, but he lived under the yoke of the Tsar. You may not have heard of other similar men, such as Tadeusz Kościuszko, and I'm sure I've butchered that name, so please, I apologize. He was born in what is today Belarus, and he was instrumental as an engineer fighting in the Continental Army. He was essential in the Battle of Saratoga, and he laid the cornerstone of what would eventually become West Point. So, you may have heard of the French, Lafayette or Rochambeau, but maybe you haven't heard of the debt so much that we owe to men of this part of the world. Because those men, whether it was Pulaski and his cavalry expertise, or Kościuszko and his engineering, they had fought against despotism already, and they lost, because their imperial master was just right next door in the Russian Empire, whereas we had an ocean between us and our imperial master. But still they came because they believed in the same things that our founding fathers believed in. And so now, at this historic anniversary, I think it is only right that we take into account the debt that we owe to people who came from this part of the world, who saw the cruelty of the most awful of all the European monarchs and wanted the same thing that the American colonists wanted, and that is to live by the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Indeed, I think the men who fired shots at Lexington and Concord would be likely to also see the danger from the Kremlin and maybe pick up arms to stand beside the Ukrainian armed forces and soldiers who fought at places like Mariupol, Azovstal, Bakhmut, and Chasiv Yar. Our histories are entwined, and we have a debt that we need to pay, I believe, to these people who generations ago came from this part of the world and fought for liberty. To all my American audience, I hope you're enjoying the 4th, having a nice barbecue or whatever you do to commemorate it. But I urge you today, of all days, to take a moment and spare a thought for Ukraine, because we stand together.
And for those listening on the radio, he's showing basically these two Statue of Liberty like emblems, one with an American flag and one with a Ukraine flag in one of the photos. And then he turns his camera off.
Very cool.
Because the guy is a pro. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. Yeah, we'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. And then by contrast, we'll see what Trump did with that. We'll be back. Oh my God. And Chicago muted themselves. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What the hell?
America wakes. 250 years later, as a light.
Sorry, America is woke now, I guess. Apparently, we're watching the Statue of Liberty and Jefferson.
For those seeking hope. A republic.
They were asleep, and now they're woke.
Entrusted to its people.
The irony will just never stop.
An idea that changed the world.
The ShamWow?
A nation worth preserving.
They don't have an alligator, like, kind of...
A dream.
Really? You're going to show ducks after you killed, like, 6 of them?
WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
This is Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's
Oh, dear.
It's coming back.
WCPT.
It's so like the White House to put together an AI video for 250, because it's not like, you know, I mean, they tried to have Trump sit down and do some reading. Did you see him sitting with Usha Vance and reading little kid stuff? You didn't see that, man?
No.
Oh, it's magic. Come on. He sat there with Usha, and they were it was insane, and he was basically I guess complaining about other presidents while pretending to read. Oh, there's the delivery thing. Oh god, him talking to I don't even know that they put this together as a video. Hold on. If he says actually the stuff.
Today
Nope.
we come to the heartland of America to pay tribute to a man who embodied the heart and soul and fight and spirit of our country as much as anyone who ever lived. TR had transformed his country by the reach of his vision and by the force of his will into one of the greatest empires ready to...
He reread part of that. That is not from his actual speech. That is yeah. Because he went on a riff about vision when he got to the word vision. And he had vision. He wore glasses, I'm sure. That kind of thing. Like, you could tell that he was like, when he saw the word vision, he was like, didn't he wear glasses?
He's like, wait, I know that word.
Right, yeah. Vision, I got it. And some people say I don't have it, but I got it better than anybody. I've had 5 vision tests. I guess let's spend a little bit of the show today, if I can, back with our chat room, because I don't honestly want everybody to get eaten up with what's awful about Trump in this time, because that's one of the problems with living in the Trump era, is that we spend so much time white knuckling our government.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't just blame his voters. I blame the non-voters. Because they were the difference. I totally expect the people who would vote for him to vote for him. It's the people who stood down that I have an issue with. More than, TR wore progressive glasses. I think that was actually his brother, but although he did like parks, mainly because where else are you going to shoot animals? But there is so much about this country that I have grown up in and that I love dearly. And my experience here and the family and friends and life that I've had here, and that I've, in traveling the world, I do recognize it doesn't exist in that way in a lot of other countries. As a borderline sinophiliac, who had, studied Kung Fu, and martial arts since I was a kid, big fan of Japanese and Chinese culture, for example. And there's a lot to like, but there's a huge difference between a racially homogenous country and a diverse country, and the work that goes into maintaining it. In the United States, one of the greatest things about it, if not the greatest thing to me, is that it does not show up on anyone's 23andMe. You don't, if you want to be a Japanese citizen, you by and large got to be Japanese. There might be some weird exception they do occasionally, but if you're a Korean citizen, you're expected to be Korean by birth, genetically, ethnically, racially, a part of these countries. The United States is not now and should never be such a thing. And if anything, if you're going to export democracy to the rest of the world, you're going to show they can work in a hodgepodge environment like we have. If you're going to, export it out to racially homogenous countries. And so, and being in those countries, you get to see, if you're there for a week, I don't know, how much traveling have you done overseas, Johnny? I'm curious.
Just a little bit. I've only been to England.
Okay.
And Hawaii. But that's, it was over a big sea, but
that's not America.
That's
Polynesia. That's the country where everybody has multiple partners, right? I don't know how that works. Anyways, what did you do in London while you were there? I'm curious.
I actually went there for work and then found a way to go see rock shows and hang out with a friend that I'd met online ages ago. But it was mostly work stuff.
Right. Because I've been quite a few places, kids. Been a lot of places. The one gap, I think, in my travel has been Eastern Europe. But I'm not in a big hurry to go. For the same reason, I'm not in a hurry to go back to Dubai. Many people have heard that story. Check out my stream when I've talked about it. Not in a hurry for that. But
I'm glad you made it out.
Me too. And the same thing is kind of true about like going to Taiwan versus China, for example. And China. I've spent a lot of time in China, especially in the 2.5 years leading up to COVID. And not since, because if I was there now, they probably wouldn't let me leave. They would probably snatch me up and I'd have to be traded for someone. I'm not kidding. And not because I'm a spy, just because of the, speaking honestly about my experience there. And that's something, if you go there and you travel only for a few weeks, or you take a cruise, or you go for a business trip, especially to, China, or I'm sure the people like Candace Owens who went to the St. Petersburg Economic Forum in Russia have this kind of like, you're wowed by the architecture and the exoticness of it all, but you don't get to settle in. As a touring comedian, since I've been basically, a teenager, I have this thing, and two things I developed very early on in my flying and traveling and working as a touring comic, especially. And one is punk first class, which is bring your own food and your own entertainment. Download a movie to your laptop. Get a window seat, preferably at an exit row with a little extra leg room if you're big and tall like Johnny Million, and bring your own food on board. And if people hate it, the heck with them. Sorry. If my food smells a little bit tough, I'm bringing my own meal, right? And it's better than flying first class, and you get to keep your money. And if you do have that money left over, you can spend it where you're going to experience the place you're going to. So that was always what I called punk first class. I've been doing it my whole life. The other one, of course, is that when I get into a town, even if I'm only staying for a couple of days for a show, I unpack. I take all my clothes out of my bag and I put it in a dresser. I take my DOP kit and all that kind of stuff and I lay it out on the counter. And it's very OCD traveling hitman, I suppose. But the point is to engage with the place I'm in as local as I possibly can. So I'm experiencing it as a person there. Because especially if you're a stand-up, you want to start joking about, what's locally the big complaint. That's where a lot of people will start their show with. They'll make a joke about their experience in the place. But a lot of it's the airport, the hotel, or the airplane itself, because they're not experiencing the town, until maybe after their first couple of shows, if they're there for a couple of days. So it's just crucial to live there. And so when I traveled overseas, I continue that. And especially, when I was in China, I was all over the place. And I got a much bigger dose of what it was actually like to live there, I think, than most of the people who travel over there in the short form. And it really does allow you to appreciate where you're from and the stuff you may or may not take for granted. Right? And, and it's not, oh, thank God there's McDonald's, because I've never been that. I adapt to what I'm I eat the local food. I have a rule. Even when I was a vegetarian and a vegan, I would adapt when I was traveling to the local food because I didn't want to be rude and I didn't want to starve to death, right? So I'm in Thailand eating squid eggs and and mussels fresh from the sea and that kind of stuff. And so, but the point of it is that the deeper you get into that stuff, the more you try to experience it for real, the more you can parallel it to what your country's like and what, you could learn from them that would benefit and be good, and the stuff that you would maybe take pass on, right? And I mean, did you enjoy the food in England while you were there? Or do you remember it at all?
Especially.
Yeah, this is that thing. They still got that post-World War II palate mixed with Indian food. These are the two things. And I'm one of the biggest moments, my dad and I had a miraculous sharing moment a few years ago where my dad just went randomly, like we were ordering food, we were going to choose a restaurant to go out. We were gathering, it was a family gathering, and somebody brought up an Indian restaurant, and I was like, nah, pass. And my dad went, I hate Indian food. It was hilarious. But it was one of those things, like, again, everybody's palate's everything. This is not yucking anybody else's yum. I'm sure there's a lot to like. But for our palate, my dad was into super spicy food. Really spicy. Like, he would pick a fight with the chef at the restaurant to try and get them to get the food spicier. He would question the guy's manhood. So the guy would try to create a chemical weapon and feed it to him. And, but I, like, both of us shared this moment. We're like, me too. Yuck. And somebody in the chat room was like, pot noodles are okay. Yeah, because they live on ramen as well. Like, it's so odd, and there is English cuisine. It did exist at one point, but you got to go back before World War II to find any of it. And they've been living off of, Spam and sliced meat ever since, I suppose. Cold cuts and takeout. But I'm sure there's a reason why the maggots in particular are panicked by variety. Somebody just said fish and chips. Probably the best thing you can get over there is fish and chips. I mean, you can't go wrong with fried food in a pinch, but it's not a healthy thing.
I'm pretty sure I had some of that.
Yeah. But I happen to like the idea of America as, whether you call it a melting pot or a tossed salad, look out, the idea that everything is kind of mixed up together and you have options and experience and broadening yourself without having to go halfway across the globe, which, is the old joke about, like, in China, I was doing stand-up over there at one point, and I had a joke I was worried about. And I literally, at one point, I was like, I'm going to do it anyways and see how it lands. And it was like, any of you guys ever go, nah, we had Chinese last night? Right. And I was,
I don't hate it.
Yeah. And it was a kind of what it became a throwaway. It was the single biggest laugh of that particular show, which is saying a lot. You're welcome. And it kind of caught me off guard because I was like, oh, no, am I being rude or whatever? But it was, it was indicative of it. And by the way, they have, these big, strip malls and outdoor areas where they've got food from all over the place to try and, pound their chest about having this stuff. So the point I'm trying to make is that the diversity, the variety, and the intricacies of our social fabric in the United States, I think, and call me crazy, I think is a plus. I know. And I, in all honesty, I feel like the folks that are running from that, they did this, like, I don't know if it was like a scientific study where they were talking about, like, people of different political bents and how Republicans tend to have a higher ick factor. They get icked out by gooey, sticky things. They get, messes, that kind of stuff. That's why they like poop jokes so much. Yeah. That scatological humor, because it makes them more uncomfortable, Whereas I think we like the noisy side of things because it's, fart jokes are funny. But the material part of it is just kind of like, oh, okay, it can be funny, I suppose, but it's not, All right, but it's huge to the the scatological humor, physical gags, big on that, and talking about it, interacting with excrement is a big comedy go-to, especially Christian comedians. I found that was their one safely prurient area. They could talk about your nether regions and get away with it. But the idea is that they have a higher ick factor, and that translates out, quite frankly, to exotic or foreign or different cultures, foods, and experiences. They're uncomfortable with the idea. It's why they, when they're traveling overseas, the idea that they become the ugly American looking for a McDonald's in the middle of anywhere. French fries. It's France. You got to have French fries. It's Italy, Butterfinger.
Dressing.
French. Right. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio Program, Mega Worldwide. You like raisins.
Tom Hartman.
Autocrats generally, particularly.
By the way, I love that everybody's going through the edibles, like edible foods that they found in England. Beans on toast with cheese on top. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I have to amend it. The English breakfast I was pretty down with the brown sauce and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Full English. That's something.
I will say that I really do like one of the things I liked about staying in London was the same thing I liked about staying in France was seeing someone's underpants. No, it was that where you could walk down the street to a patisserie or a bread shop in London and get some fresh rolls or croissant or something and orange juice and a croissant and bring it back home. When I was over there with Marianne Williamson, one of my morning ritual was to go get like muffins or something like that for Emma, her daughter, who was the little kid who I was being the manny at the time. So I would go down the street and try to find, and she liked it's like this blackberry syrup that you would put in water, like it was their version of juice instead of apple juice or whatever. It was like what was the one that I want to say elderberry, but that's from Monty Python. But they'd have these
Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah, it's super good.
What?
It's true. And to all those true patriots out there like Tuckums Carlson.
Wood.
Sorry.
I like wood.
And
deeper and longer.
And
wow.
Yeah. We are, I think, in one of those situations where it's almost perfect that Trump is at the quarter millennial point, the semi-quincentennial, which is, again, one of my new favorite words. It's kind of perfect that Trump doesn't get 300 or 200, and it's the 250 part of it, because you could tell he's disappointed. You can tell he's disappointed that it's 250 and not, even though it's a round number, to him it's like 240 or 260, He's 300, right? He wants to be, and by the way, I'm looking forward to the total collapse of our society. And by the time 300 rolls around, we're all going to be like shirtless Spartans kicking people into ditches. And, be somewhere between Mad Max and 300 is where our society will have fallen by that point, run totally by AI. And we'll all be fighting over whatever the last diesel that exists or something. But,
wood.
Anyways, do you remember the 200, the bicentennial?
Oh, yeah. That was a huge deal. I was in parades and everything.
Yeah, I was as well. I was in, we represented the Kentucky militia. We participated in the Battle of Richmond. A lot of people have seen that picture of me in my buckskins with my dad. That's what that was. I was carrying my Herschel House long rifle.
Nice.
My flintlock in that march. I played the water boy that saved the American flag in that when I was a kid. That was my part in it. I carried water to the guys who were wounded. And then when the flag almost fell, it was saved by a water boy. And he held it aloft even though they were still shooting at him. Luckily, the
And
Those
that's what
guns.
the Adam Sandler movie's actually about.
That's right. Yes, it was. It was about a young Hal Sparks learning how to participate in Revolutionary War reenactments. Yes, somebody was saying the 200th felt much different, and I totally agree.
Oh yeah,
it was. And I think part of that had to do with sort of it had a nice Carter kind of a flair to it. It was it was right up there with Saturday morning cartoons and Schoolhouse Rock and the Muppets. And the coins came out, and none of like Jimmy Carter wasn't trying to put his face on anything on the side of the coins or print a new bill, like a $200 bill with his face on it like a jerk, or he didn't try to co-opt everything, right? He just wanted to listen to some Skinnerd and go down to Georgia and barbecue something. And I have great memories of that. One of my favorite memories, I think, is, and if you're a big WKRP fan, the KISS Bicentennial poster.
It's the best.
Is when
that was a poster that was up behind him the whole time, right?
Yes, when he first came in to see the to be the new station manager. I'll see if I can stretch this out so people can see it, because I genuinely,
yeah.
To show everybody what the new direction for the station was going to go, he unfurled this poster on the wall to let everybody know, like, this was his way of, putting his
Andy
flag.
did that.
Yeah, Andy Travis,
Boy, he had great hair.
Gary Sandy, absolutely, and man, I don't, everybody was so relatively, even the unfit people were fit back then. Do you think it was probably cocaine, wasn't it? Was that probably it? I mean, it was the 70s.
Cocaine and smoking.
Stimulants. Smoking and stimulants, that was probably what did it. Yeah. Like, smoking ruined their appetite. Speed. Yeah. Speed made them, their metabolism crank through the roof, and then the smoking made them lose their appetite. That was, ain't that America? Right. But this poster is a big part of my my experience of the bicentennial,
Yeah.
And a lovely part of it. And I look forward to the day when we can. And by the way, at that time we had just come out of a Red Scare. There were still people worried about it was the middle, I don't know if it was the middle. It was like the shallow end of the Cold War, but it was there. And they were still worried about the commies coming to get us, and we had spies all over the place. Go watch Stranger Things. That's a good kind of balancing act. Or The Americans, this idea that they fed people in the country, which, by the way, just for the record, they have not stopped doing. The Trump administration wanted credit for like busting a Chinese spy that was finally arrested and then swapped out. Turns out his case was filed and he was arrested during Biden. Huh, you don't say. Like a lot of the arrests that they're getting right now are cases that have been around for a couple of years and that kind of stuff. So what was your favorite part of the bicentennial? How about we do that? Did you enjoy the state fair on the Washington Mall and the heat stroke that came with it that they had then? Or
I don't remember any of that stuff. I just remember being in Newport News, Virginia, and my dad being dressed up, or my grandfather being dressed up as Uncle Sam. And we actually, my cousin, brother, and I did that, a version of that KISS poster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was part of us on the parade.
One of the things that they've been talking about, Trump doing is that he was going to pardon 250 people for the 250th.
Oh, cool.
Which he will probably do under dead of night. One of them was going to be Sean Combs, but he did pardon 11 people. Yeah, for violating the Clean Air Act. So, which, by the way, they were convicted of violating the Clean Air Act, but none of them saw jail time. I guess, like, cool story, bro, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they were modifying or disabling emissions controls on trucks.
Dude,
and then one of
come
Jack
on now.
Abramoff's, he pardoned one of Jack Abramoff's business partners who was sentenced to prison in 2006 for wire fraud. Jack Harvard, who was a ranch owner, another rich dude. But is he? Yeah, this was the. He granted clemency to Troy Lake, a 65-year-old Wyoming diesel mechanic who served 7 months in federal prison for conspiracy to violate the Clean Air Act by disabling pollution control equipment on diesel engines. And everybody's like, he just got busted for fixing his car. That's what Trump actually said he did. When in reality, he was doing it for these, like, as a business. You know what I mean? It's like it's like saying, it's like the story about how, like, prisons and jails in America are full of people who are nonviolent drug offenders who are just there for pot. That may have been true in, like, up till 2003. But, like, since 2003, nobody's getting thrown in prison for. They might do some jail time if they've got other things that they were let out early on. And if they're caught with drugs or guns or any of that other stuff, they get thrown back in for another year. But they're not being thrown back in for nonviolent stuff. They were violent before. That's what they were sentenced to. And they got out early, and then they violated it by being caught with drugs or something while they were speeding or doing something else. Otherwise, how would they have known they had drugs on them? That kind of stuff. Like those. But since then, it's really been like, you got to deal some major stuff. It's really a tax thing. It's borderline, like, prohibition level stuff, like where they're arresting people for selling pot without a license because you're not paying taxes on it. Massive taxes, millions of dollars. Like, that's what people are. And this is the same thing. That's the version of where Trump is saying this, where he's like, this guy got thrown in jail for just fixing his car. Like, no, he didn't. He rigged everybody else's car to get, basically, to go further and pollute more. So stupid. But we'll, I guess the big question is, and, I asked this earlier, but, and we'll ask the chat room this. Do we think it's do you think it's Trump's last fourth? I'm pretty sure. I don't mean just as president. I mean on the planet. Because, and this is not me wishing it on him. None of this is not, and I'm not talking about assassination. None of us actually are calling for that on my show or anywhere around it. And if anybody does it in my chat, we either kick him out or disavow. But because I think most of us would rather him have been caught while he was still healthy and put in jail for the awful stuff he did, especially to the women that he violated. He's been forced to, this is a great week for E. Jean Carroll to win yet another victory where he owes her millions of dollars and is trying to avoid paying it. I just want somebody to come up and put a boot on the beast, and just go, because he's avoiding paying his judgment. But I liked that came out this week. I like the fact that, the birthright citizenship, this was a good week for that to also win. And ultimately, it's odd. People mentioned that I believe Marco Rubio is technically a birthright citizen because his parents may not have been here legally per se when he was born, and they may have achieved some. Yeah. But there certainly have been people around him. I would guess, technically speaking, depending on how involved he wanted to be with his own kids, if he'd have just left Ivana, and not talked to her or not admitted that those were his kids, they would be birthright citizens right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I like that it was held up this week in particular. The problem, I guess, the Trump family again has to do is, this is very much in line with the DEI, that people who are newly American citizens know more about the country and care more about being citizens than the Trump family ever will. Like this is another part of the big. We'll take a break after this, and we'll have a bit of a happy ending. We'll try and just steer this towards the healthy, happy stuff. Besides the fact that I'm going to be in Chicago next weekend, and we're going to do the show from the station on Saturday. It's true. What? It's true. With my kid. He and I are both going to be there. It's going to be super fun.
Wait.
Yeah.
That means when will you be here?
Thursday through Saturday.
My band plays Friday in Chicago.
What time? Because I'm there for a charity event on Friday, but we could do both.
Oh,
you're late.
Like maybe 9 or 10.
We'll jump. I'll go back and forth. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen.
Okay.
At the very least, we'll come to sound check. I don't care. We'll come see you no matter what. We'll make it happen.
Yay.
And dinner and all that kind of stuff because I love you. And we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Infotainmentwars.com on YouTube. And, of course, at Hal Sparks on Instagram and on Twitch and wherever you get your noise from.
Noise.
Hey, looking for a winning team on a winning station?
I am. Yeah. I feel mildly insulted. It's like, would you like to, fill in on a couple hours on Saturday? We have a gap in programming. We're looking to fill. What?
That's what I'm worth?
Yep. Right.
All right, I got a quick piddle. I'll be right back.
Oh, dear. Okay. Go for it. Oh, Johnny. Come on, man. Do you even leave the room? At least close the door. For God. Is he finishing? Oh, no. I knew it. I knew it. Why? Johnny. You know what? Maybe we're not coming in next weekend. This is... can he even... At least take your mic... Can we get you a hardwired mic? Can we get you a hardwired mic for the show? It's not... I'm just... Why in the world do you not understand... This is not... Are you just puttering around the kitchen now? Why would you do such a thing?
You are listening to WCPT 820.
I am happy, you are happy. Let us be happy together. Whether the weather is cloudy or sunny, I will always be your funny honey bunny. I am lucky, you are lucky. Let us get lucky together. Whether the weather is cloudy or breezy, I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's take it easy. Because isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice that the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say I love you? Chugga chugga choo choo, woo woo. I am smiling, you are smiling. Let us smile together. Whether the weather is cloudy or stormy, I will still be there in the morning. I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I hope that you like cereal.
Yay! Hooray! Welcome back. I guess a little bit of good ish news from Kentucky is that Mitch McConnell is awake. I don't know if you know it. He had he was found unresponsive.
Yeah.
And given CPR.
Yeah. He woke up.
Yeah. And then
he woke up.
By the way, as 3 days after he was found unresponsive, his wife Elaine Chao flew to Beijing, and I guess I don't know to return the syringe. I don't know. Sorry. I mean, I'm kidding. Like I don't even know why anybody would try to harm him, or it would take more than just going boo at the right time.
Yeah,
like this.
Seriously.
Yeah. There's a sort of throw mama from the train aspect of this.
Or just doing one of these.
Yeah, right. Just lean towards him. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ivana at the top of the steps. Yeah. What a dream I was having. Louis Armstrong was trying to kill me. So, you know what that what that one is?
No. Wait. One more time.
Get away from me, you horse's ass.
Oh, yeah. Throw mama from the train.
That's right. What a dream I was having. Louis Armstrong was trying to kill me. When he blows the horn in her ear and tries to make her, give her a heart attack.
Louis Armstrong.
But what a great line. Oh my God. What a dream I was having. Louis Armstrong was trying to kill me. And then I think, Lied
to me.
Which is the other, you don't have a cousin, Patty. I guess the upside of all this was that even though Trump tried to turn this into his own, personal holiday, there are things going on all over the country that'll have little or nothing to do with him and will just be regular celebrations. We're going to have fireworks. Everybody's going to do them. You're going to hang out with your friends. And if you can, I hope you can. Like, I'm going to probably cover his speech later on tonight because it's my job.
Yeah.
But if you don't have to, if you don't have to think about him the rest of the day, and I'm giving you permission not to, just don't. Just go think about some nice things, memories that you had as a human being. I was trying to drift us in that direction. Think about Travis and Kelsey, or Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
Ain't that America? Little pink houses.
Something to see.
Yeah. And I think the Bloomberg editorial board kind of summed it up, which was happy 250th to a battered but beautiful America. It's like we're all one of Trump's exes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all in that situation where we're going to be sitting in the apartment, by ourselves, finally, with a mattress on the floor, but no furniture yet, playing, I Will Survive on a loop for the rest of it. Here's some good news. Phil is good. Phil is safe, and in spite of all this other stuff. The maggots are very angry that there aren't deportations. Because they're not going to happen. That failure is dogging them everywhere, every which way Trump turns. The MOU, I guess this isn't necessarily good news, is garbage. But the good news is maggots seem to be figuring that out.
What?
Oh, yeah. They seem to know it's nonsense. I mean, there's definitely some pushback. You got the Jack Posobiec crowd and those kind of folks who are getting, Benny Johnson or whatever, who are getting talking points straight from the White House to run interference on this stuff. But by and large, the rest of them aren't buying it. And they want it to work. And they're trying to use it as a way to bolster JD Vance. But I don't see that happening either. They can't stand that dude. And this isn't going to fix it. Right? They either don't trust him because of his connections to Peter Thiel and the venture capitalist crowd and his, BlackRock buddies and that kind of stuff. Or they don't like him because he's not insufficiently loyal to Trump and is jockeying to take over if Trump keels over or something. Either one works for me because I don't care. I think their judgment is terrible. And so it doesn't upset me if they get upset. But it's very clear that once Trump is done, by hook or by crook, whatever happens, Trumpism goes with him. And there is no person, following in the wings that is going to pick up the mantle and carry it. There's no way Tucker Carlson or JD Vance carries this forward. And in a lot of ways, the irony is the one person, who do you think the one person they thought could have done it was? The one person.
Oh, DeSantis?
Duh, that's adorable. You mean the guy with the Mo Howard haircut and the big white galoshes from the great state of Florida? No, definitely not DeSantis.
I thought they thought he could.
Somebody genuinely where they're like, this guy has the spirit, he's the future of the party, on that level. I'll give you
Tucker Carlson?
Nope. I'll give you a hint. He's dead.
Oh. I can't remember his name.
Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Yeah. Not only is Charlie Kirk dead, but maggots by and large think that Trump either had him killed or participated in the cover-up.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's that rule, I guess, don't, if your enemy's making a mistake, don't interrupt.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit to that. I think maybe there's even some poking around the sides. Hunter Biden has been friggin' magical with that stuff. When he went on to Candace Owens' show and was like, wow, they won't even let you ask the question? The question, huh? And the Trump administration's after you there, and they came after me like they came after you. Only they're coming after you way harder. I feel sorry for you, and they're all like lapping it up. And here's the weird part, because I think he's being to some degree genuine. I don't think he's not sympathetic to their political aims. He's not sympathetic to their ideals in by any stretch. But I do think he's sympathetic to the fact that they're being attacked by the Trump administration. That this weaponization of government thing, yeah, that sucks. It's a really difficult thing for us to deal with, and I know what it's like. And I'm impressed by him. I gotta say, after having Donald Trump, who was best friends with a pedophile for upwards of 25 years, and I know we're not ready for a female president yet because we're immature. Clearly, we're still, that level. We're still not there yet as a country. Clearly, we're maybe an addict, a former addict. I mean, maybe that was the difference between, I didn't inhale. Like, this is the natural arc of I didn't inhale, right? That and man, who could help us better get out of? And maybe he'd be a good running mate for me. That'd be a good bridge for America to cross. He could be my Sparks Biden 2028. Yeah. That'd be, oh man, that will drive him crazy. But to have somebody who's an addict, I mean, there's kind of an analogy, America, that might be good for us. A former addict being president might be exactly who we need to get us out of. Because I know some addicts / former addicts, depending on how you like to word it. I think once an addict, always an addict is the idea. But I happen to know and love some people who are addicts, and I am always proud of what they've accomplished, and I'm impressed by how they go through life not succumbing to it again, and I'm even more impressed by how they extrapolate that life lesson of overcoming that and not engaging that anymore to the rest of their lives. I think addicts have a lot to teach us, and yeah, and so there. Just throwing that out there. That might be I certainly think if we brought that up in the general maggotry, they would clearly freak out. We might need Hunter Biden for president T-shirts just on the merch store at some point. Yeah. I'm not against it. I think it's actually I think it's a smart move, but I don't know if you saw his dunk about about Trump getting the Nobel Peace Prize. That he thinks, I've never seen one guy end the same war over and over. He's ended the same war 38 times. No president in history has done that, and he'll keep ending it for as long as he wants. So he should get the Nobel Peace Prize at some point. Yeah. So we're getting near the end of the show. RPM, do you have a show next Friday? Where's that?
We do.
Where is it?
It is at the Underground Lounge in Chicago.
All right. Well, I'll be doing the Hody Bash at the Metro, and I'll slide over there. But we're going to do the show in studio next weekend.
It's not too far away from there.
I think we can make it happen.
Doable.
Yep, we'll make it happen. Are you live streaming in the near future?
Golly, it's been really hard. I'm so busy, but yeah, I will be live streaming soon.
Okay, it's Johnny Million on YouTube and Twitch. We'll see you later, everybody. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the stream. See you next time. You're awesome. Thank you, Chicago. Happy 4th. Mm-hmm.
Facts matter now more than ever.
Thank you, Chicago.
WCPT.
I agree. I'm going to let...
Chicago's Progressive Talk.
I want to say bye to them. Bye, Chicago. Appreciate you. We'll let you go.
ABC News Radio. I'm
Ryan's
Lisa.
Going back to Kiev.
Yeah. Yep. He wants to see him when he heads back to Kiev and to deliver more vehicles. Be nice to catch up over a beer. Indeed. And appreciate you being here, brother. I'm assuming you're going to be streaming tomorrow, so everybody subscribe to Blunt Politics with Boston Brian. He's got a show tomorrow. And then Jason, thanks for going live today. I need to get a fill of your humor today. Watch out for the Grizzly Bears, and may the 4th be with you. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. It's no use, Luke. It's no use, Luke. If you'd have been there, you'd have been killed too. The droids would now be in the hands of the Empire. Yeah. Hello, my friend. No, he'll be all right. Sand people will return, and in greater numbers. Trump is like my boomer dad without formal study of history, economics, and accounting, except mine knows opera like Hannibal Lecter. They should meet. Oh, dear. Time of the speech is when Hal picks it apart. That's when I watch it. I need a therapy. Huh? Oh, what time is the speech? The speech is, I think, is 9 o'clock Eastern, which means 10 o'clock probably because of the way they've been running him. So 6 o'clock Pacific. I'll go live like 10 minutes before, and we'll do that. Never liked the 4th bombs bursting in air and such. Yeah, it's difficult for your pets. That's the only issue. Is like I think this is Bucky's first fireworks display, so we'll see how he reacts. He's pretty relaxed.
Yeah. There were lots of fireworks last night the cats were not thrilled about.
Yeah. Comer was at my mom's church because he was running for governor. Oh, that makes sense. We were at my mom's church when I was in Kentucky. We went to church with her on Sunday, and Comer was there alone. It was super weird. Even I'm sure the pastor said hi to him, but he didn't stand in the line with everybody. He didn't walk the line. He just kind of was and then he just walked out. I was so going to go back, and I was like, where's my camera? I got to get my phone out. Then he was already walking out, and my mom and my kid are going that way. And I got to all right, I got to get my mom to the car and make sure everybody gets there healthily. I'm like, priorities. And then thank you, Alicia, for the hello, Hal and Johnny. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, and anyways, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go cook something on the grill. And then we're going to go watch some fireworks at some point, and then I'm going to do this live stream. My dance card is very full today, very full indeed.
Do it.
And then I'll give you a call later. We have big stuff doing.
Stuff out.
Yeah, we got big stuff doing. So, all right. Much love to you guys. Hit the like, share the show. Thank you guys for joining us today, and I will see you very soon. And Johnny Million, you're just awesome, and that's just awesome. That. You are. Oh, there he goes. Thank you, guys.
Still warm with a ghost of us. Name in my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two. Like a bruise leaves a mark on you. Don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. You hear that too? Or is it just me? It's the same sad song, empty space that was here all along. Every step is a borrowed shape, every second a vain escape. Laughter crying out for sin, summer stealing the autumn wind. There's a face that I almost know through a window where I won't go. If you're there, don't let me see. Downside out, I need to go the things I do, in my hands and the way I speak, in the cracks when I try to sleep. And you sit like you always did, never answer, just nod your head. If I reach, do you disappear?